Some were maimed, others killed, and when it came time to pick up the pieces, taxpayers paid a small fortune.
In Detroit, city buses are a vital way for many of us to get around town. But as 7 investigator Ross Jones has uncovered, sometimes they can leave devastation in their wake.
We need to warn you, some of the images in tonight's story are disturbing.
If it's anything that I could do to take some of the pain away, I would.
It's been 5 years since the accident, and Jessie Payne still hurts every day. Her golden years have been anything but since the afternoon a Detroit city bus driver didn't see the 71-year-old walking through a mall parking lot.
I was hit and under the bus.
So the tires ran over you?
Right.
The surveillance video is grainy, but that's Jessie walking across the lot, and that's the moment the bus hit her. The driver would later admit he was reading a clipboard, not looking at the road.
I kind of raised up and looked down at my legs, and I passed out.
Both of Jessie's legs were degloved. That means the skin was completely taken off of both legs. Both legs were crushed, multiple fractures, horrible muscle and nerve injuries.
Today, she says she can't even walk more than a block at a time and needs a walker just to get around. She sued the city, settling her case for $3 million. Hers is one of the hundreds of cases filed every year in Detroit after a city bus accident. And since 2015, taxpayers have doled out nearly $17 million, much of it stemming from negligence claims.
I was going ice fishing. Left, early in the morning.
Norm Hamada was traveling eastbound on I-94 in Detroit 2 years ago when out of nowhere he came upon a stalled-out DDOT bus sitting in the left-hand lane.
The driver in this particular case was sitting on a hill. He didn't make any effort to put out signs or put out warning lights. He should have done something.
Hamada couldn't miss it, and neither could the driver of a pickup truck who would later die. After 7 months in a coma, Hamada had to relearn how to sit up, how to walk, and he still struggles with memory issues. His case settled for $200,000. The driver no longer works for DDOT. Maybe the most horrific recent case of bus driver negligence happened here on April 4th, 2015.
It was a Saturday morning. He got on the bus with a bike.
Joey Davis is the man wearing the Michigan sweater, waiting to get off the bus at a stop near 8 Mile and Van Dyke. That's Davis retrieving his bicycle from the bike rack located at the front of the DDOT bus. The driver, a 15-year veteran of the department, appears to be looking up at her rearview mirror. She didn't notice Davis was right in front of her before taking her foot off the brake and driving right over him.
It wasn't simply an accident. There was negligence.
Davis died at the hospital. The city settled the case for $4.5 million. The driver was retrained and still works for DDOT.
Horrible accident. No excuse.
Since 2014, Dan Dirks has been the director of DDOT and acknowledges that the accidents we've highlighted can and should have been prevented. But he says his department is making progress in making city buses safer, cutting the number of accidents by 33% between 2015 and 2016.
When you're operating 14 million miles a year, you're going to have some issues. I'm not discounting that. We should not have one.
Buses in the city appear safer today than the day Jessie Payne was run over, but that's no consolation to her. The accident cost her most of her independence, and the city's bankruptcy, well, it virtually wiped out her $3 million settlement. She lost everything, she says, but her life.
Sometimes I think about it and I just want to scream.
But this is only half the story. That $17 million the city's paid out over bus accidents, well, much of it stems from cases where the city wasn't even at fault. So every year the city is paying millions of dollars for somebody else's mistakes.
Oh, that's true.
Part 2 of our investigation airs tomorrow on 7 Action News at 6. I'm Ross Jones.
Wow. Thank you so much, Ross.